How'd the punting thing go this week?
Oh, it was wonderful, Eric. It was a thing. It was a thing of beauty. I think that, if I had a guess, I haven't talked to Brian because we punted again today, but if I had a guess, I think he'd start the game off with Turk.
Talking to the players this week about the emotions of senior day, I mean, they kind of sound like you can't avoid it. And looking back at the last 4 years, you guys have scored 3 points combined in the first quarter of those games. It's almost like players come out with a little bit of a fog.
You should see him, Pete. You should. It's different than any game of the entire year, and you try to describe it to people, and you try to describe it to them. But until they're actually experiencing it, I think so many things go through their mind. It isn't like you go through warm-ups and they're any different, or practice during the week is really that much different. But you should see some of some of these guys. You'd calm them down, try to calm them down before the game, because some of them are so wired for sound, because they're just looking around, and you're trying to just keep them focused. But it's even more dramatic after the game, because whether we won or lost, it really hasn't affected too much the individual reactions, from different guys. Like I've walked past guys just sitting by themselves, just bawling their eyes out, that really had no impact. It had nothing to do with the game itself, just the finality of the culmination of their career.
The first year when you went through that, when did you kind of sense that, whoa, okay, this is really hitting these guys hard in the early part of the game?
I detected it more after the game the first year, and then was more cognizant of it before the game the second year, because even though you talk about it, until you've gone through the experience of actually witnessing both before, during, and after the game, it's quite different than anyone that's not inside could ever imagine.
How important is it to you to get these last 2 games and to get things turned around? I mean, for any coach it would be important, but for you being a Notre Dame grad?
Yeah, I think the most important thing really, as I'm looking at it for this week, is I really, probably one of my biggest regrets so far in my career is losing to Syracuse last year, mainly because those seniors walked out of here for the last time with a loss. And it was a gut-wrenching feeling that stayed with you for quite some time. So I'm not worrying about next week until after we finish this week, because this game is so important to our team and me personally for those guys. You want that experience to be one where they're taking that lap around the field and high-fiving the fans, and being able to share that with them. You really want to watch that.
Charlie, I don't know if there's a diplomatic way to ask this, but will you give any thought at any time on Saturday that it's your last trip downtown?
Nope. Not one bit. That would be very selfish for me to do it to start off with. I'd be very, very, very selfish for me to be thinking about anyone other than those 4th and 5th year players. I promise you. I promise you, as far as I could ever tell, I don't think those thoughts would ever enter my mind. That would be purely selfish.